Hi, welcome to Café Jana. Well, I'm Jana. This is where I talk about community building, experiential marketing events, and of course, how to make the perfect cup of coffee. So this is a subject I've been thinking about for a while that I want to do a video on. And it's really about how to survive or surviving a startup and how to survive the different phase shifts. And there's been books written about it, there's blog posts, and I try to keep these videos to 5 minutes. So I'm just going to do a couple big lessons I've learned. I've done six early stage startups in my career. I started working in tech in 2008, actually during like one of the worst parts of the recession of like the mortgage and housing crisis, but it was really the only industry that was hiring. So I got my first tech job doing customer support, but I've done a few now. So my first kind of tip is always ask for more stock. Just ask for double. It's so interesting because I feel like companies or early stage startups always prioritize engineering, but I think anyone that's early, your role is important and will have an impact, whether you're in HR or marketing or sales. I came into HashiCorp, when we were really small, and I was hired to do community and events. But again, the programs and the things I have built have had a massive impact on how the company is viewed, on employee brand, on the company brand. The programs I've done, we've hired folks from. So it's, someone that just is like, oh, you're just an events or you're just a community person. Over the years, I've had a big impact. So never, I always ask for more stock. Build for scale and learn to automate. I think this is something important. The more manual your processes are, just the harder things will be. Right? You're moving really quickly. You're trying to build things, so the more you automate and build for scale. And also on top of that, think about how you build your team. So the advice that I've always been given is early days, try to hire more senior people. I think once the company's a bit bigger, right, then you can hire junior and grow those folks. But in the early days, you really need folks that can also do strategy and eventually build out teams underneath you. Automate, scale, think about how you build out your team. It's so interesting. I met with their HR team, and they're always talking about build your team based on the future state, which is, I think, so tough because when you're working at a startup, you sometimes are like, okay, I can see 6 months from now, but it's interesting to, when you join a startup, is think about like, hey, maybe your company is $1 million in revenue and you're only 20 people, but where's your company heading? And think about, what your team will look like in a year or 2 years, and what programs will fall underneath the kind of the org that you're building. Prioritize. I've been advising over the last couple of years. I've been advising early stage startups, and it's so funny. It's when you're 10 people, you're each doing 10 jobs. And it's always like, it just seems like you have this mountain to climb, this mountain of work. And really it's on you to prioritize and figure out what are the most important programs and initiatives and things you can launch or put in place that will help you get towards your company goals. And you need to very clearly understand what your company goals is. Is it revenue? Is it leads? Building community? And then make sure you are prioritizing those. Otherwise, you're going to try to do a million things and maybe and a lot of it won't be done well. So it's like, kind of, what are your big wins, or what are the things you can do? And then another thing. So a couple years ago, I read Molly Graham. She did a guest post on First Round Capital, and she talked about giving away your Legos. And I think that really resonated with me. And I think that's probably been the biggest thing that has helped me survive the different phase shifts. So again, I've been at HashiCorp about 6.5 years, right? Started when we were 10, we're now 1,800 employees. And it's, right, when you start, you're doing a million things, right? I used to do like field marketing and community and events and employee brand stuff and design stuff, but it's just, as the company grows and scales, right, they hire folks that are specialized. So you need to learn how to let go of Legos and trust that other people will get it done. And then also on top of that is just releasing what's the best way to say it? There are ways that you did things in the early days, how you shipped products, how you communicate with your customers or community. that when you hire more people, right, some of those early days things you did just won't stay or don't scale. So I think for you to just be sane and stay happy at the company you're at, you just have to let go of some of those things. And you can't try to hold on to how things were done in the past. And then I think my last tip is just take care of yourself. Just you are your only advocate. Burnout is real. And at the end of the day, the company is going to take care of itself and HR is going to protect the company. So it's on you to advocate for breaks or if you need to unload some work, because no one else will advocate for you or take care of you. So yeah, I guess those are my tips. Always ask for more stock, build for scale, try to hire more senior people in the early days, prioritize the amount of work ahead of you, giving away your Legos, which will help you survive the phase shifts, and take care of yourself. Okay, since this is Café Jana, and I feel I've gotten some comments now that people just watch to see my reaction to coffee, which is funny and I appreciate. So I am drinking Hedge coffee. It's a roast from Yemen. This is one of my favorite roasters. I feel like I say my favorite roaster, and my friends tease me. I also say every DJ is my favorite DJ, so I'm probably going to say every roaster is my favorite roaster. But okay, let's see. Wow. Chocolatey, smooth, with like a hint of berry or something. Oh, so good. Cool. Well, nice to see you all, and have a nice long 3-day weekend. Ciao.